Mr. VPS Badno, he asked me, he said, General, is there a military literature festival anywhere in India or in the world? So I told him, I said, I'm not aware there isn't any military literature festival anywhere. So he said, why can't we have it in Chandigarh? I said, certainly we can make an effort, but first I must have the views of the Chief Minister of Punjab.
4 years ago, we started the Military Fest program in Punjab. Object being to teach our youngsters with regards to military affairs, whether there were wars with China or whether there were wars with Pakistan.
The Military Literature Festival Chandigarh has gone from strength to strength over the years, bringing together veterans, historians, strategists, economists, poets, artists, former spies, politicians, and even film stars from all over the world, with a focus that always remains the military, past, present, and future.
Military Literature Festival of Punjab is one of the most inspiring events which takes place in Punjab every year. And it is attended by veterans who have not only done this country proud, but who can inspire future generations.
The soul of the Military Literature Festival actually focuses around the warrior, his activities, his culture, his knowledge, and his understanding that since he is powerful, he must always help the weak.
And I see lots of people there who are buying things and new books coming out, which I've read maybe 40 years ago or 50 years ago when I was under training myself. And subsequently, further research has gone into it and new books emerged with different events. So we thought that this was something that, of course, keep everyone abreast with what's going on, and also for the newer generation to understand.
Punjab has drunk deep the chalice of courage from one end of the world to the other. Punjab has been and is a land of soldiers since times immemorial. This is the first edition which is going virtual to honor our veterans, also to inspire younger generations and generations to come to follow the footsteps of our brave veterans.
Like shotgun shooting, horse shows, polo, to photography, to bird watching, to adventure events like cross-country runs, cycling, off-road shows, Braveheart motorbike shows, vintage car rallies, and paragliding. But now, this time, it will be virtual launch with more national and international participation.
I'm very happy that the organizers, led by General Shergill, have done a great job. It's grown in leaps and bounds, and where we started off as a little lit fest has now become the talk of India, and we are the only military history festival that is existing in the country.
I'm sure younger generations will be inspired, and we will not only learn but we will enjoy ourselves at the festival.
This year, since we are going to have it virtual, I would want lots of people to be virtually connected to us in this Military Literature Festival.
Well, I'm sure that this year we'll have a great virtual content which is going to reach out to the far corners of the globe.
So look forward to meeting you all in this virtual Military Literature Festival from the 18th to the 20th.
The Raksha Mantri will be addressing the Military Literature Festival in company of His Excellency the Governor and the Honorable Chief Minister.
It's going to be our fourth one, and I not only wish it success, I'm going to be very much part of it. For me, it's something that I look forward to every year, and I hope so will you.
Welcome back, and we apologize for the little interruption in the process of our show. Ladies and gentlemen, coming back to the 61st Cavalry. The 61st Cavalry. The 61st Cavalry was formed immediately after India's independence in 1947, following the amalgamation of the princely states with India. It has a glorious past and is the only horse-mounted regiment in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to sit back and enjoy the audiovisual.
Army, the 61st Cavalry. The documentary that we will see in a short while covers all key highlights of the regiment. Following the amalgamation of the princely states with the Indian Union, a new horse cavalry regiment was formed, merging all regular erstwhile state forces cavalry units on instructions of the first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. He famously said, India must maintain a horse cavalry regiment at all times, which shall serve as a link between the past and the present. Raised as New Horse Cavalry Regiment, it was formalized in January 1954 as the 61st Cavalry with Lieutenant Colonel Fulel Singh of Jammu and Kashmir State Forces as its first commandant. The founding fathers of the regiment fought the Battle of Haifa in Israel, in honor of which Haifa Day is celebrated every year on 23rd September to pay tribute to the Indian cavalry regiments of Mysore, Hyderabad and Jodhpur, which helped liberate Haifa in 1918. Major Thakur Dalpat Singh, who was posthumously awarded the Military Cross for gallantry, is referred as the hero of Haifa in Israel. In 2017, during his visit to Israel, the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, as the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Israel, paid homage at the Haifa War Cemetery and unveiled the Hero of Haifa plaque in honor of Major Thakur Dalpat Singh. In 2018, the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and his Israeli counterpart, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, formally renamed the Teen Murti Memorial in New Delhi as Teen Murti Haifa Chowk. Post-independence, the 61st Cavalry has lived up to its founding fathers' expectations, being part of all major military operations. The only regiment of the Indian Army designated with equestrian sports as its mandate is a center of excellence which has achieved unparalleled feats in the field of equestrian sports, having conferred with 1 Padma Shri, 12 Arjuna Awards, 9 Asian Games medals, and various medals at Polo World Championships and tent pegging World Cups. In the list of honors, the regiment holds enviable milestones, the most recent addition being the Arjuna Award conferred to Risaldar Ajay Sawant in the year 2020. The 61st Cavalry has also been at the forefront of ceremonial duties with the rare honor of leading the Republic Day Parade ever since its inception. The regiment has also had the honor of leading several military parades abroad, including the first Guard of Honor, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, in January 1972 at Dhaka, Bangladesh. I now would like to present to you the documentary itself, hoping that we cherish and revere what a beautiful organization Indian Army is.
Welcome to 61st Cavalry. I am the double-headed mythical Dhanda Barunda eagle. My outstretched wings span events in their millennia, and my vision enscrolls for posterity, as also views the future with anticipatory prescience, for which I, then, become the sole anecdotist. I have overwatched the birth and growth of the fabled Indian cavalry and its equally mystical spirit, which tangibly can be said to be that mystic bond of transference of natural instinct, response, and emotion that coursed between a cavalier astride his gallant charger. From this mass of muscle and sinew flowed a vigor of the emotion, a temper of the will, a freshness of the deep springs of life, and a temperamental predominance of courage over timidity. In this vein, I now recount for you the immortal saga of the coalescing of 5 warrior former Indian princely state cavalry units into one valiant, redoubtable, and unique mounted cavalry regiment that carry my image with honor as their badge. The sacrifices, deeds, and renown of this redoubtable and fabled body of troops is immortalized for eternity in the magnificent Teen Murti Cavalry Memorial, which pays silent tribute to the services and memory of the 15th Imperial Indian State Forces Cavalry Brigade, as it then was during World War I, located in the national capital in New Delhi. Come, listen to my story of the fabled 61st Cavalry of the proud Indian Army. After the independence of India in 1947, the restructuring of the new Indian Army commenced after the departure of those elements of the former British Indian Army allotted to the new Dominion of Pakistan. As part of this restructuring, many of the former cavalry or mounted units of the former Indian princely states had to be rationalized and streamlined so as to provide a self-contained militarily effective mounted force for the new emerging Indian Army. This impulsion was a natural outcome of the personal and close association with the sport of equitation and his own love for horses of the first Prime Minister of independent India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who saw to it that his nascent nation retained in its full panoply a mounted cavalry unit as part of the regular Indian Army, in his prophetic statement that India must preserve a horsed cavalry regiment which shall serve as a link between the past and the present. Towards this end, the following principal former state cavalry units were put into the crucible of fusion. The Gwalior Lancers, formed by the amalgamation of the 1st and 2nd Gwalior Lancers, raised in 1853 and 1852 respectively. The Jodhpur Kachawa Horse, formed by amalgamating the Jodhpur Lancers, Kachawa Horse, Udaipur Mewar Lancers, Mangal Lancers, Alwar, Dungar Lancers, Bikaner, and the 1st Brijendra Lancers, Bharatpur. The Mysore Lancers, raised in 1807. B Squadron 2nd Patiala Lancers, 1910, and Saurashtra Horse Cavalry Squadron, 1891. The symbolism behind the selection of these units is not far to seek. Spiritually, and in some cases actually, in these units were to be found the descendants and ethos of the Maratha, Rajput, Sikh, and South Indian cavalry of yore. The regiment was raised on the 1st of October 1953 under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Phulel Singh of the former Jammu and Kashmir State Forces. The new Horsed Cavalry Regiment, as it was then known, completed its raising and equipping at Jaipur in the Kachhava Cavalry Horse Lines. In January 1954, it assumed its present designation of 61st Cavalry. Organized as a full cavalry regiment with 3 sabre squadrons, a medium machine gun troop, a signal and communication troop, and the Gwalior Mounted Band, the regiment's profile changed to 2 sabre squadrons and a headquarters squadron, having shed 1 sabre squadron and the machine gun and signal troop in 1975. My narration would be incomplete were I to omit to recount the deeds of this unique assembly of disparate in origin, yet formidable band of armigers, whose deeds and valor bequeath to its modern-day successor an awesome military heritage and an impressive tally of battle honors. Hark! Heed the saga. The Gwalior Lancers served with distinction in France and Flanders in 1914, 1918, and in Mesopotamia in 1916. The Jaipur Kachhava Horse served meritoriously in Sindh, now in Pakistan, for almost 16 months, deployed against the Hurs. The Jodhpur Lancers' enviable record of service boasts of deployment to the former Northwest Frontier Province in the Tirah Campaign, 1897-1898. China, 1900-1901, during the Boxer Rebellion. France and Flanders, 1914-1918, during the engagements at Ypres. Festubert and Cambrai, 1917. Palestine, 1918-1919, when in September 1918, Major Thakur Dalpat Singh earned immortal glory leading the regimental charge that helped result in the capture of the port city of Haifa. The regiment also served with Pay Force in Iran in 1944. The regiment won a host of awards for this dauntless and valorous service over all these years. The fourth strand of this military brotherhood, the Mysore Lancers, served in Egypt and Palestine for the defense of the Suez Canal in 1914-1915. It participated in the pursuit of the Turks, 1915, and the subsequent capture of Gaza. It also assisted in the capture of Haifa, 1918, and the last cavalry action at Aleppo. The regiment's tally of awards comprised 60 decorations. Lastly, the Patiala Lancers saw active service in Afghanistan, 1878-1879, in the Khurram Valley. The Northwest Frontier Province, NWFP, 1897, at the forcing of the Bidmani Pass, World War I in Egypt and Palestine, 1914-1919, the Third Afghan War, 1919, in the Zhob Valley, and World War II, 1939-1945, in Palestine and Aden. The regiment's tally of awards was 22. Verily, the superb body of mounted gladiators lived up to the true soldier's maxim of Vinci qui se vince, or he conquers who conquers himself, the fear of death. Thus did they bequeath a drum roll of battle honors to their present-day successor, your regiment, 61st Cavalry. Delhi, China, France and Flanders, Cambrai, Suez Canal, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Gaza, Megiddo, Sharon, Damascus, Palestine, and Afghanistan. Thus did the valor and achievements of these gallant armigers of yore merge with the vibrant equestrian excellence of those that succeeded them, ranking this regiment, your regiment, 61st Cavalry, for distinction and renown forevermore. Since its raising, and in its current role as a mounted cavalry regiment on the order of battle of the Indian Army, 61st Cavalry has also recently participated in the following active field deployments. 1965 Indo-Pakistan conflict. Under the command of the late Lieutenant Colonel Thakur Gobind Singh, the regiment was deployed on ground holding and reconnaissance tasks in the Ganganagar sector of the Western Desert. 1971 Indo-Pakistan conflict. The regiment was entrusted with crucial security guard duties at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi, relieving regular army units for deployment elsewhere. 1989 Operation Pavan, Sri Lanka. Selected drafts from the regiment underwent acclimatization and jungle warfare training prior to deployment with the 11th Battalion, the Rajputana Rifles. Regimental personnel saw action in the Vani jungles of the Tandwan Reserve Forest in August 1989. 1990 Operation Rakshak. The regiment was deployed in the Western Theatre in a new configuration from April to August 1990. 1999 Operation Vijay. The regiment was deployed to Jaisalmer-Barmer sector of the Western Desert in support of the operations of Southern Command. 2001-2002 Operation Parakram. Once again, the regiment was deployed in the same sector of the Western Desert as it had during Operation Vijay in 1999, again in support of the operations of Southern Command. In the regiment's quest of excellence, mention must be made of the distinct and unique role played by eminent individuals, such as the late Lieutenant General, His Highness Maharaja Savai Man Singh of Jaipur, an eminent equestrian and polo player of international fame himself, and the continued patronage of the Jaipur princely family. The late Lieutenant General M.S. Badalia, also an equestrian figure of renown, who became the first colonel of 61st Cavalry in November 1959, and the unmatched ongoing support of Field Marshal S.H.F.J. Manekshaw, the first Chief of the Army Staff to honor the regiment by becoming its colonel of the regiment, and all the chiefs of the Army Staff who succeeded the Field Marshal in this office. The regiment shall always strive to live up to and surpass, where possible, the standards enjoined by its colonel of the regiment. This it has attempted to achieve during the presentation of the regimental standard on 23rd September 1977 by the then acting President of India, Shri B.D. Jatti. The Silver Jubilee of the regiment observed in 1978, the parade being reviewed by the then Chief of the Army Staff and Colonel of the regiment, General O.P. Malhotra, PVSM, and the Golden Jubilee of the regiment observed in 2003. A mounted ceremonial parade was presented by the regiment, and the parade was reviewed this time by the then Chief of the Army Staff and Colonel of the regiment, General N.C. Vij, PVSM, UYSM, AVSM, ADC. The regiment has also actively participated in all Republic Day parades. Your regiment, 61st Cavalry, was also selected to perform military tattoo displays in the United Kingdom on the coronation and jubilee observances of the British sovereign, when the regiment, magnificently accoutred, gave a dazzling performance of the poetry in motion between its skilled riders and their equally well-trained mounts that left the British horse-loving public enthralled. The regiment also gave a contingent display at Chantilly in France in 2007 and formed the mounted contingent at the formal parade for the Indian Army in March 1972 to commemorate the birth of Bangladesh as a nation. In the field of equestrian sports, especially in polo, the regiment, as inheritors of an unmatched legacy and the sole Indian Army custodians of this elegant mounted sport, has the unique distinction of being the cradle of this magnificent equestrian skill. equally meritorious has been the regiment's sterling performance in various international mounted tourneys and competitive sports, such as the Moscow Olympics of 1980, the Asian Games in 1982, and subsequently in 1986, 1994, 1998, 2002, and 2006. International show jumping and eventing championships in Japan, Korea, Taipei, and Australia. World Polo Championships in Switzerland, New Zealand, Malaysia, Australia, and Pakistan. Mention too must be made of the superlative performance of exceptionally gifted steeds who, sporting the colours of 61st Cavalry, won laurels for the regiment. Prithviraj, a show-jumping champion from the stables of the erstwhile Mysore Lancers, won the International Show-Jumping Championship at Lahore in Pakistan in 1959. Shahzada won 2 gold medals for India at the 1982 Asian Games, amongst many others. Such performances and the spirit displayed have inspired the rank and regiment. The regiment has also won the following honours and awards: Dafadar Raghubir Singh, Padma Shri, 1983 Equitation; Lieutenant Colonel Thakur Kishan Singh, Arjuna Award; Dafadar Khan Muhammad Khan, Brigadier VP Singh, Colonel H.S. Sodhi, VSM, Colonel R.S. Brar, Dafadar Raghubir Singh, Colonel R.S. Sodhi, Colonel K.S. Darcha, Major J.S. Aluwalia, Major Rajesh Pattu, SJRP, VSM, who comprise this unique band of mounted armigers. From the proud and stately Rajput warrior horseman to the wiry and doughty Maratha and the stoically dogged Khamkhani Musalman horseman, all are the children of the regiment. Recruited from the sturdy rural stock from Rajasthan and Maharashtra, they are bound together by the common ethos of their love of horses, their loyalty to the army, and the honor of the distinguished regiment whose badge they proudly wear. Trained to perfection by hours spent under the tutelage of experienced equitation instructors, they learn to care for their steeds like one of their own. Military skills such as musketry, basic tactical expertise, communication techniques, and navigational skills are acquired through training within the regiment and at various army instructional establishments. All this is done under the careful yet unobtrusive watch of seasoned and experienced commandants and their team of equally dedicated and competent officers at the unit and squadron level. The end result is a well-matched meld of combat-worthy men, superbly trained steeds, and a military unit of splendid perfection, elan, and a fighting spirit that is second to none in its own sphere. The regiment's spirit and all that it represents is enshrined in their motto, Ashva Shakti Yashobal. The power and strength of a horse epitomizes valor and courage. 61st Cavalry, your regiment, are the inheritors of an ancient and noble lineage who displayed that one distinctive characteristic of the fighting man, proud of his soldierly profession, namely, that honor is manly decency. The shame of being found wanting in it means everything to them. Thus, in this regiment, hear me now, O my young acolytes, valor is the first virtue of the cavalryman and constancy the second. In the immortal words of Lord Birkenhead at Neuve Chapelle in 1927, Whence then came this spirit of endurance and of high endeavor? It came from the twin sources of an inborn and simple loyalty, of an instructed and very perfect discipline. Like the Roman legionary, they were faithful unto death. They had accepted a duty, they had displayed it. More can be said, need not be said. Thus, for your regiment, 61st Cavalry, can it truly be stated, valiant will be their deeds, undying shall always be their memory.